Hello, Titans. It is a beautiful day, and so I wanted to sit outside when I recorded this video. So if you hear some birds or some neighbors talking or some dogs, that's why, because it's lovely outside and I wanted to take advantage of it. Today, we're going to be talking about the subjunctive, more subjunctive. We're talking about the subjunctive used with emotions and the subjunctive used with doubt. So kind of a two-part notes series today. Make sure you have your notebook with you right now. If not, hit pause and go grab it. And then you will maybe need to pause the video a couple times when we are doing practice activities. So feel free to pause it as you need to. So subjunctive used with emotions. After expressions of emotion in Spanish, like saying, I'm happy that, or I'm sad that, or we are excited that, you have to use the subjunctive regardless of whether or not the information is true. So we've been using the subjunctive with, we've been using the subjunctive with things that we're not sure if they're true or not sure if they're going to happen or not. But here we're using it with emotions. So use the indicative for the verb that expresses the emotion and the subjunctive for the verb that follows, very similar to what we've been doing. So the beginning of the sentence is indicative, the second half of the sentence is subjunctive. Es triste que nosotros no estemos en escuela. I think that's a pretty true statement. It's sad that we're not in school, but regardless of whether or not it's true, it is an emotion. I'm expressing my emotion about it, not whether or not it's true that we're in school. And so that is why we're using the subjunctive there. You're going to need to hit pause for this. This is a list of all of the expressions of emotion that you need to be familiar with. You're not going to have to memorize this list, but you need to be familiar with it. So go ahead and hit pause and jot these down, and then I will tell you what they mean. Alegrarse de is to be happy about something. Encantar is to love. Enojarse de is to be angry about something, to be angry that. Es una lástima que is it's a shame that. Es sorprendente, it's surprising that. Es triste, you know that one, it's sad that. Estar contento or contenta if you are a lady, so to be happy that. Estar emocionado or emocionada, to be excited that. Estar triste, to be sad that. Gustar is to like that. So you could use that in saying like, I like that you are going on a trip this summer, something like that. Sorprenderse de, to be surprised that. Sentir means to feel, or it can mean to regret. So you could say, I regret that, or I'm sorry that something happened. Temer is to fear. Tener celos de is to be jealous of, or to be jealous that. I'm jealous that something happened. Tener miedo de is to be scared that. And es una pena is another way to say it's a shame. All of those need to have the word que after them to be a subjunctive phrase. A couple examples for you. You can write them down if you want. You don't have to. No me sorprendo de que sea difícil. I'm not surprised that it's difficult. So maybe it being difficult is a fact, but I'm expressing my emotion, and so that's why it has to be subjunctive. Temo que no me entiendas. I'm afraid you don't understand me. Another example there. So we use subjunctive because we're expressing our fear about it. All right, here's some practice. Hit pause, just jot down the conjugation that you think is correct on your paper, and then I will show you the answers in just a moment. Ready? All right, here are the answers. Estoy contento de que vengas a vivir en mi ciudad. Me gusta que seas un amigo tan fiel. Me sorprende que no tengas nada que hacer hoy. Es una lástima que no te sientas bien. Siento mucho que tu perro esté enfermo. I'm very sorry that your dog is sick. Siento mucho. Okay, that was sort of the easier portion of our notes today. Moving on to the second part, using subjunctive with doubt. This gets just a little bit different. You need to use a subjunctive after expressions of doubt because they suggest that the second verb may be untrue. We aren't sure if it's true or not. We use the indicative for the verb that expresses doubt, that should say doubt, and the subjunctive for the verb that follows. So this should say doubt. I'll fix that on the version that I post for you guys. So here we have no estoy seguro de que nosotros tengamos tiempo. We're not sure that I'm not sure that we have time. So there, I'm expressing doubt about the fact of whether or not we have time. And so my doubt makes the second part of the sentence subjunctive. We have some expressions of doubt, so go ahead and hit pause and jot these down, and then I will tell you what they mean. Dudar means to doubt, so you'll see that one a lot. Yo dudo que, nosotros dudamos que. Es dudoso means it's doubtful. Es imposible, of course, it's impossible. Es improbable, it's improbable. No pensar is to not think. So like, I don't think that we're going back to school this semester, something like that. No es cierto, it's not true that. No es verdad, it's not another way to say that. It's not truthful or it's not true that. No estar de acuerdo con, to not agree with someone that. And no estar seguro or segura de, to not be sure that. And so you have to have que after each one of those as well. Okay, so we need to talk a little bit about subjunctive versus indicative here, and that's what a lot of this chapter is going to be about, and it's going to be a little tricky. This is honestly something that's a little more difficult than other concepts to learn remotely, and so we're just going to have to buckle up and do our best and see how the next couple weeks go. So the word no can change the meaning of an expression and affect whether you need to use the subjunctive or indicative form of the second verb. So all of the other phrases that I've shown you, the emotions and the demands and the suggestions and all of the other times we've done subjunctive, the word no isn't really going to change it. But here it will, because if I'm saying I don't doubt something, then I'm sure of something, and I'm going to use the indicative if I'm sure that something's happened. So a couple examples here. Dudamos que Jorge conozca al músico. We doubt that Jorge knows the musician. So that doubt makes the second part of the sentence need to be subjunctive. But if I put a no in front of that dudamos, no dudamos que él tiene talento, we don't doubt that he has talent. At that point, I am expressing certainty, and that certainty is going to make me use the indicative for that. So this list is the exact list you just copied down for our doubt phrases, but they're opposites. So on your list, you had dudar, es dudoso, es imposible, es improbable. But here, you are making those negative. And then on the right column, all of those were negative, and we have made them positive here, or affirmative. And so saying it's true that, I'm in agreement with someone that, I'm sure that, I think that, it's not impossible that. All of those would make it so that I need to use the indicative because they express certainty. One last thing to note here is that when we have subjunctive versus indicative, sometimes we also have an infinitive that we will use instead of subjunctive or indicative. So we use subjunctive with emotions and doubt and hopes and wishes and influence. That's what we've learned these last 6 or 7 weeks. There are a lot of reasons to use subjunctive. And so you have the notes for those. You have a pretty extensive list. I'll show you another list in just a minute. We use the indicative when we are certain about something. We use it with certainty, and we use an infinitive when there is only one subject in the sentence. The other ones will be used when there are at least 2 subjects in the sentence, but the infinitives, so saying, well, here are my examples. So for the subjunctive with doubt, yo dudo que tú vayas al restaurante hoy. I'm doubting it. So whether or not you go doesn't matter, I doubt it. And so that's why that one's subjunctive. The second one for indicative, yo no dudo que tú vas al restaurante hoy. I don't doubt that you're going to the restaurant today. Now, I am certain that you're going. I don't doubt it. And so that would make it indicative. And the last one here is using an infinitive because I'm not changing subjects. The other two, the first subject was yo, the second subject was tú. Here, we just have yo. Yo quiero ir al restaurante hoy. I want to go to the restaurant today. So I'm not changing subjects. And so that is why we just keep it in the infinitive. We'll do a lot of practice with that. So hit pause and do these 5 examples to see whether or not you think it needs to be subjunctive or indicative. Ready for the answers? Es improbable que yo sea propietario de mi propia empresa. Creo que María es una buena escritora. So it's creo that says I think. And so that is me being sure. So creo que María es. I'm not using the subjunctive there. No es cierto que Sara invite a Juan a su fiesta. Es cierto que Rosa estudia para ser policía. So it's saying it's certain that she's doing that. So I'm not expressing doubt. That will not be subjunctive. That needs to be indicative. And then the last one, no es posible que todos los bomberos actúen como héroes. That one is going to be subjunctive again. Okay, lastly, I wanted to draw your attention to Quizlet. There are two lists on Quizlet of verbs that might be helpful for you. We have not learned all of the words on all of these lists. They're pretty exhaustive and we haven't gotten to them. I'm not sure that we will, but there are two to show you. So there's a list of a whole bunch of subjunctive phrases. Here. Spanish 3 subjunctive phrases all. This is just under the Spanish 3 tab of our Papio South Spanish. So these are all the different subjunctive phrases that might be very overwhelming to you. Like I said, this does not have to be memorized. This is just showing you if you see one of these phrases, it will use subjunctive. So it might be helpful to bookmark this. And then there is also a list of indicative phrases. So these always use indicative. This is a longer list than what I just gave you on this PowerPoint, but either way, I think they're both very helpful. We will be doing a lot of practice in the coming weeks with this, so be on the lookout for that, and please let me know if you have any questions.